live stream it, so everyone has to use a mic. So I'll make that announcement as we're closer. Now, this can travel, Randy, so people can pass this around. I had a lapel mic, I don't know where it went to dig that up.
Went back today. Yesterday morning, I had to get up at 4:30 and take Austin to the hospital.
Oh my God.
5 hospital visits in 4 weeks.
I bet they know you by on a first name basis.
Actually, there was 2 nurses in the ER that said, "Hey, seeing you again." Yeah.
Okay, let me tell y'all this, because I'm not gonna make a big announcement. Stan Hannell's mother died.
Oh,
Who?
no.
Stan Hannell, Leanne's husband,
Oh, wow.
his mother died, so they're packing up gut for her. I was thinking this might be more beneficial if they face this way. What do you think?
Oh, it's just a G26.
Or you think they'll be all right like that?
Say more words.
To
Yeah, it's a
be able
compact
to
nine.
sit their tablet or device on the table and look at the screens and do whatever they need to do,
I have the shorter Mac, but I can't find
working
where I
from
put
the
it.
table.
So I just put one of these
I think
stands in.
however is
I bought
fine.
a Glock.
Either,
I only own one Glock.
however
It's a
they're
Glock 30.
seated, they can see this or that.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 45, isn't it?
You're right.
I actually have one.
Over there.
That's a medium frame gun now.
But with the holster, it's
Yeah, well, remember 45 is a big round, so. They sell 10 millimeter too.
I carry it.
I can't remember what the number is.
Mine every day is up to 380.
You know what the great thing about these is? They're modular magazines. You can get a magazine, like you can get a 33 round mag and put it in the same, as long as it's the same caliber.
Yeah, it looks like it come off your hip though.
Yeah, well, that's not what this was. The chief has, he's got one of the full auto conversions.
Yeah,
That thing is, yeah, it'd be sweet to shoot
he
that.
must have a special license.
Yeah, he has to turn off the auto when he's no longer in Leo. But it is what it is. But anyway. How's Ro? Happy New Year.
Ro's
Happy New
fine.
Year to all of you. Happy New
Merry
Year.
Christmas,
Oh,
happy
yeah,
New
we
Year.
did have a new year. I
Um,
forgot all about it.
I'm gonna
He
make,
was so busy at the hospital, we didn't know what you
Yeah.
did.
I was telling Brandi this just before y'all walked in. We're good, we're currently live. The mics are off right now, but I'm gonna turn them on when the time comes. So we all have to use the mics. And this one travels.
Okay, so
I had a lapel mic, I don't know what
Kyle
happened.
sent me an email saying he wanted to be able to listen in. He had some kind of surgery today or something.
And he
Tom
sent it
and
to all
Dan.
of them.
Did you see him at the hospital?
No.
No, he's been sending me emails all day. Hey, you feeling okay? Okay. We had dinner at Freddy's in Rocky Mount after I picked him up.
Did anybody tell him you could see it live when they do?
No, I didn't tell him, you can tell him if you want to, because I didn't know what was going on.
He doesn't have to watch it live. It'll be, I'll archive it, which I always do. And I'm not gonna be monitoring chat, so if he's asking stuff, and I never check my phone during meetings, so.
Okay.
I know it drives my staff crazy. They're like, we were trying to text you, and I'm like, well, I'm not looking at that. I think it's the height of ill manners when people are having a meeting or talking to you, and you're looking at your phone.
This seat's too high, I know that thing. Just tell me what, show me what to push, this one, push it up.
Yeah, because they're tuning you out no matter what. They're tuning you out.
When you're
so
sitting,
it's
pull
for
it
seconds.
this way. You
Toward
gotta sit
you.
down.
What's that?
Okay.
I said,
I'm
I
just
said,
kidding.
they're
That was a
not-
joke. That was a joke.
No, I was just thinking,
No, you're right.
you know, they're tuning you out, and that's not polite.
It's like watching TV, you know, it's like, how can you
So I
do
can
that
feel like
and
I'm
talk
sitting
to
in a
someone
hole.
at the
So
same
how's Crystal
My
doing?
husband is notorious for that,
That's-
being playing a game on the
This
show.
business about you only miss a few days of work for a gallbladder surgery if
Oh,
it's
no, that's
laparoscopic, that's a
crazy.
lie. Go ahead.
She said she'd rather have a C-section again.
So, does she work?
She owns a
Has she gone
dance
back-
studio in Rockville.
Has she gone back to work?
She ain't dancing much, but
Still
she's back
scarred
at work.
by my
Okay.
childbearing
Okay.
years.
I mean, there are little
many kids did you have?
Just two.
Working out.
It's just a toy
Yeah.
in a woman's
The
body.
biggest thing, well, other than the pain,
I
the
felt
pain
like
is starting
that,
to
you know.
subside, and she's still got a
I'd
little
always
bit of pain
heard,
right there at the
you know,
belly button.
pregnant women just shine and
That was the
radiate.
biggest
No,
one, is
not
what
me.
pulled it
I
out.
think it depends on the person.
But her thing is,
My mom had me at home in Sicily,
Oh, wow.
and when I was
she
born,
has a
I
terrible
was
diet.
11
She eats
pounds.
pizza, cheese sticks.
She always would tell me, "You nearly killed both of us."
I
It was
see.
High
always my
dopamine
fault.
foods.
you know.
I get it.
That's pretty much her diet.
Yeah, right.
I'm not playing potato chips.
junk-
Every
junk
bit of
food.
that,
The wrong one.
This is what I call junk food. But, so,
that's what she eats.
when my
She
mom
eats
had her
Or
gallbladder surgery,
deflection. We don't know.
she took a
That's-
week off from work, you know, because they said a week. If she had not had a week of vacation going on the next week, she'd have had to take 2 weeks. But, after everybody I've known has had gallbladder surgery,
remember
and they got to go back.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
It
saying,
just-
and she's eating stuff that exacerbates that.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And she's like, I don't care, I gotta have pizza. She eats pizza once a day.
Oh, gosh.
No, you can do it if you use the
Well,
Western
so
media.
what happened to your?
You can stream
Chili.
it via
Dad
Wi-Fi.
had
Chili Willy.
pneumonia and RSV, or RSV turned into pneumonia, one of the both.
Okay, so he had a bad
If we
respiratory
might be able
infection.
to hook it in here.
Is
There's
he
a
home?
HDMI
Is
connector.
he
It's home now, it's still down bad, can't go outside, it's a lot cold. So,
Where's your port?
back at the house, and take care of Austin's.
Alright, so this would be-
situation. Her, she's on bed rest, and he's,
Okay, there you go.
and he's on a couch, on
And I have to switch
heavy
this
painkillers. He done messed his shoulder up,
to,
Saturday was like
And
that
where
for
did
me.
almost on Wilson Street, 97, 95. It's just,
is
why-
your
why something
desktop
happens to me?
rock?
Who's gonna take care of me? Nobody.
Right, but is your desktop, your wallpaper rock?
First responders gonna find me dead in my house.
Is this it right here?
If somebody that called you, I
Oh,
told her.
okay.
Yes, that's it.
I said, you call me every
That's
day.
why I didn't know which picture it was too bad.
I know about where he lived. I know
Hold on
about
one second, let's put the TVs
I'm
in.
right beside Gibson, across the street.
Is this your cable?
Mine, yes.
Okay, that's good, good
I'm right
thinking you.
beside Gibson Methodist Church, that little house.
I talked to Buddy about energizing that one today.
On Walnut Street.
Energizing that TV.
581, like you're going out there. That's where I live,
There's a partner.
There you go.
Yeah,
across the street from me. Yeah.
right next to me. I live right across the street from her.
So you have to talk into the mic, you're welcome to sit here.
All the time.
It's because I come out that door right now.
We're behind the church.
So what I'll do is I'll start us off in the other
Oh,
mode
that
and then
two-story
I'll
house?
switch us to this. How's that sound?
Church right here.
Oh, you
Right
talk,
there.
you talking about First Baptist Church right here? You thought, no,
You're up in that way, right?
you talking about, yeah, you go through the next line at Gibson Methodist Church, and I'm the first house on the left, as you're headed out towards 64.
But I can't commit myself. It's like I need to call, make this appointment,
No,
but
no.
I'm like, I don't know.
There you go.
Over there.
Yeah, I'm that one.
Somebody did some research.
Yeah.
Somebody did some planning.
I was actually talking you up, Brandi, and you too, Steve, about what a great job y'all did last time.
Y'all, she did it last time.
Yeah, but you were good at answering the questions too that came up. I
Yeah,
think you
it
guys
was-
had such a good mojo.
It was very helpful for me to have you being able to jump in and answer the
Like that
questions
email I
and,
sent you yesterday, I think you have hesitation with the factor here. Bring it.
yeah,
I think the hesitation for people to be on social media, they think they can just open a Facebook page and it'll do the work for them at home.
right.
And they're like, well, you know, we didn't have to have Facebook 20 years ago.
Well, it's not 20 years
Times
ago.
have changed.
I ask people all the time, when was the last time you cranked your Model T?
I hear you're feeling poorly.
I'm better than I was.
That's good.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm glad you're with the living.
Does weather bother that, or just, doesn't matter?
Something that I crossed paths with.
It's actually less information than the last one.
Think?
The last one was,
That was right thorough.
A couple of weeks, thought I was better and I wasn't.
So,
I think the last
my
one.
now I heard you had given my grandfather used to get that back in the day, you know, when there was nothing for it except for
Maybe,
lunch
and I
time.
feel like I left a lot
And,
out, but I
he
didn't
loved
wanna,
his ham better than anything. Ham and
this might
sweet
still be
potatoes. But,
2-hour lecture.
he would have to
Kinda
cut
hard.
the side of his shoe out.
And I keep lifting the corners of the.
He couldn't
My plan was
take that
kinda
shoe pressing up against his joint
and
and stuff.
then
Yeah, I mean,
pull up camera on the big screen and show
Oh,
them how to
man.
put some of that pull up into the business suite so they can actually see it.
I found that with ours, I don't physically do our social media anymore, I got a girl for that, but with ours, when I was having to do my other job, it's just everything else I do,
Good.
and that I
You need to go get your own.
But
I wear all the hats.
Hootsuite,
Chair.
Okay, I've not used that, but the other one that I listed was Buffer, don't use that either.
Hootsuite, I was able to, this is, that, I used that when Facebook and Instagram weren't together. You know, how now you can post on Facebook and Instagram from Facebook.
Yeah.
You used
Yeah,
to
that
not
did
be able
used
to
to
do
be a
that.
thing.
So Hootsuite connected everything. But we got off of Instagram. We're still there, but we don't put more focus on it. Not for what we do.
I'm there, but I don't post anything different. If I post to Facebook, then I post to Instagram. But I don't have nearly the traction on Instagram that I do on Facebook.
Well, you also think about some of these shops here that have like antiques. Some people follow those kind of pages. Like me, you know they've got something in their shop that, you know they've got something in their shop that they're like, I can't believe that hasn't sold yet. Well, when you walk in on Dan's, I love everything in there. It's overwhelming. So if they take one item on a table and, you know, do a thing and maybe even just tell a little bit of history about it, all it's doing is capturing a different audience. You're not necessarily saying, hey, look, there's 37 pictures of all the products we have. Sometimes it looks like a power.
It's something we should probably stress too. They don't wanna post several pictures at one time.
Highlight some things. Do more posts. Highlight 2 or 3 things.
Christine
And like I said, if you have that one
Leslie.
cool item from the 1920s that did this or did that, or if it's like an antique like that, or
I think that's where our staging really comes in. They can pick just a couple of items and do
staging.
one
Is
good
that part of your thing?
No, but we can definitely mention it.
It's, I just feel like there's so much hesitation with it.
There it is.
I mean, like, even my boss, he had no interest in spending money on Facebook. I said, man, you lost your mind. And I told him, just look, man, just give me $1,000 and I'll show you what to do. He said, we're gonna spend it. So I burned $1,000 in like 3 days, but I got several hundred leads, and he's like, oh, dude, you're spending like $13 a lead on Google. You're spending like 57 cents now.
The difference though is leads from Google tend to be better leads.
They are, but when we look at our sales volumes, when you compare the two, you take all the ones that came from lead source, Google paid advertising, or some of the, we got multiple Google ads, bunches of them, and then what we're doing on Facebook. They're like 60-40, 60, 65 maybe on social media. And then, and yes, these are better, but you get so much for your money, so much. And those people still, like you said in there, they still research it on social media.
And also, even if those aren't good needs right now, eventually they will be. And then they'll be
Cultivating.
coming to you.
Cultivating.
His property go out.
I mean, ideally, if someone in Bailey, someone in Nashville sees a cool item, it sees your post, well, that's all we're in Spring. They see that one item, like, man,
I know,
I'd love to have
but
that.
that bothers me. Somebody might throw something.
I'd love to have an old Coke sign. Or I'd love to have this. They might come over, and if they come in, they might not buy just that. That's, I mean, there's a lot they miss out on. Do you recognize any businesses so far? Maybe we should do like we did
do something.
name,
I was, I
business
was-
or organization.
That would help, list information.
That was helpful last time. This,
Was it better here?
the man, the builder,
The location?
yeah, so I paired with him so much better because we're in the same business. We don't build, we manufacture, but houses. So his is a little outside of this. He still got some good information because we were able to, we knew what he did, and I was able to tailor it that direction. But you can, like him, he says he only wants 5 or 6 houses a year. That's not. I've got builders. I got a builder right now that's got almost 40 houses to go in 2025. But they've got 8 crews.
I was about to say, they must have.
Do you need a pen?
They've got 8 crews. They got four crews, but they're split crews. Like this crew does the shell of the house, and this crew does the finish work. So they can go
Probably a
in.
good way to do it.
They can go in a 2,000 square foot log cabin and have the shell up in 3.5, 4 weeks. So they got 2 of those crews going on while these guys are going. And if it's a smaller house, they're in and out in a week and a half. Then the other guys come in and finish. And then they also hire subs, local
Rest
subs,
would be good too,
with
if-
cabinetry.
or just being in town or out of town.
Local subs to finish the roof.
Just
They
so
got a little
people-
system.
If they have
If I had 5 or 6 of those, I could really do some damage. We only got 2 or 3 that's,
Steve, what time is it?
1 or 2 that's like that. 5:59.
I'm gonna go look for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait.
Don't wait on me because I may not
Like to
find
turn that podium around.
You need to make this go live.
To the HDMI here.
the YouTube's already streaming, so I just need to turn the mics on when we're ready.
I usually like to give a few minutes grace period. There might
Okay.
still be people coming.
Well, let's do this. I'll go look afterwards, because at least we have one mic that can travel.
So I'm gonna ask for, sign this, their name, email.
I do phone number.
We need their email for the
We need emails,
and phone number.
phone numbers, good. Do people still have one?
Do they?
Well, if you have a business, you might.
I don't.
Well,
It's
I'm
all
saying
right
if you
here.
have like a retail location, you might.
Whatever is most easy.
Just phone.
Yeah, whatever they choose to write is fine. However they most like to be contacted.
I just found out we still have a fax line.
Yeah, you have to. We have to keep a fax line. There's information that the state and federal government will not accept unless you fax it to them.
When we do government bids, they come in via fax.
They say that that's the only secure method to get it to them. Because
What?
unless you have end-to-end encryption,
Yeah.
it can't be secured.
I just watched this thing last night about using quantum computers to break codes. God, that was scary.
It is scary. There's a lot of scary stuff out there. So I will energize the mics. You can maybe make the announcement that we're just gonna hang out and then. Hold on a second.
Before you go, do you particular businesses? I think so. I'm just curious what businesses.
I mean, Pam's going to.
Okay, we're getting ready to start in a few minutes. I'm gonna circulate a page where I need your name, your email, phone contact, and, I just want to welcome everybody here tonight, but we're gonna give folks a few more minutes to, trickle in, and then we're gonna get started, okay?
I wanted to tell you, Leslie from Scavenger wanted to be here tonight, but she's knee deep in putting her Christmas stuff away. She said she can't get in our house.
Okay, and the other thing is, if you, we're gonna be on YouTube tonight, so you're gonna have to talk into a mic, and we will circulate this one for you.
I really don't need a microphone.
Well, you actually do, because the folks out there cannot hear. They're
Really?
interested in hearing what you have to say.
Okay.
They can't hear you if you don't speak into them.
My kids have never said I was quiet,
I
so I'm
understand
just
that,
saying.
man.
Right, those of us in the room, no problem, but the people trying to watch from YouTube,
Yeah.
I'm
They
an old
struggle.
school teacher, and I don't know, since I've retired, I've got a white now. You don't know me? You should know me.
Tammy Harris. I've been here for 37 years, but you know.
You may know my sister Lou Jean. You know my sister Lou Jean.
Trip everybody and put my full name. Oh, my God.
It's a trick. We have snacks for people. Help yourself.
I already helped myself.
Yeah, everybody knows my sister before they know me, but I did work at Food Lion for many
Want some water?
I have some right here. Thank you.
You got Red Bull, so.
I should have brought Red Bull.
Stay away.
Did you ever
I
see
had to finish my coffee before.
the Family Guy episode where Peter gets hooked on the Red Bull?
Oh, yeah.
That is hysterical, man. I'm sure the clip's on YouTube or something, or TikTok or something. You should look that up. It is
I didn't
hysterical.
put on the lipstick.
I didn't see it.
You look fine. Thank you. This is me normal.
But yes, Pam Bradley, see, I grew up right around the corner from your sister. Where she lives now?
She's on the main branch. She's been there for like 50 years.
There's one that brick house beside the community building. The one that's gonna have you look like a blueberry?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. The blueberry house.
Go sit over there with him.
Yeah, everybody knows my sister Lulu before they know me.
Is she doing good?
She's doing good. She just called me today. Or did she?
Oh,
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm so glad to see you here. It's April. That's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even need my tea. I brought tea to stay warm, but it's warm in here. Cozy.
That's fine, that's fine, yeah. We'll set up a database.
And we're getting another
Not database.
storm, another Arctic blast. Gonna be in the teens in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, it kinda invigorates and regenerates things and kills some bugs, you know what I mean? I don't know, just kind of.
As long as you stay in the house.
Exactly.
But I've been told all.
That's when I hibernate. In the summer too, I hibernate when it's.
I don't know
too
how
hot.
to switch
And I left several
to this.
You ready?
Yep, I'm gonna pull up.
Did you,
I see that it's.
We need to water.
did you want to make an announcement that,
I gotta reach
Because
out to
remember, this is
Christie.
on
I don't like
so
the
you
ones
might
that
want to
post,
say
they're
something
not
into the
looking
mic
that hot.
saying, hey, we're gonna start the presentation or something like that.
I know.
Because otherwise, all people tuning in will see just the presentation without any kind of narration.
I mean, I saw some of
Right.
it.
So, context.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we're getting ready to get started with the presentation on the screen, okay?
But out here, they still look pretty good.
In the pots, they look good, in the ground, they don't. You see mine are in the ground at home too.
I do not, it's showing on mine, and it's not showing there.
To get some heat, it's fine. What's the guy doing in the library? He's gotta go.
I think
Yeah,
that would help.
they replaced that one.
I mean, it is my screen, but it's not what I've got actually pulled up. But that's my thing. Oh, wait a minute, there's a button down here, but my mouse is not,
The businesses
there it
should
goes,
be
okay.
here, should be here.
Let's go back here.
They all should be here.
Um, can always just pull it up there.
My kids would definitely.
Almost there.
Cousin, she's a rabid Democrat. She's been writing stuff about Facebook. Say his name, Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, yeah. She said we should
We can,
boycott that
do you wanna
and a
download
bunch of other things. Yeah, good luck with that. I said, I'm too old for that.
the media player, that Question Media?
It'd be probably easier just to sign into Canva on that computer like I did before.
You wanna do that?
Yeah, I tried to download the thing on my phone the last time.
You can't.
Okay.
Yeah, I had, yeah, I had.
Change that.
Because it's not optional.
When you're ready, when you're signed in, we're gonna go, you know.
My church kind of resisted for a little while, and they didn't want pictures on there, and they're like, we wanna get people in here, we gotta be out there visible.
Yeah. So you do it for your church, or
Hmm?
you do this for your church?
I started doing the Facebook page, yeah, and now
Do you do Facebook Live and things like that during service?
I haven't done anything like that.
Way to reach more people.
We had it at first. I know, that's why I'm here to learn, because, you know, even with my own Facebook account, I wasn't that, you know, active, just once in a while, post a picture if I was traveling, and I liked it. Mostly flowers is what I post.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
And I do it to keep up with kids and family, that family in Florida and Tennessee and Georgia, so I'm trying to.
You know, I used to say that because my grandchildren, two live in San Francisco and two live in Fort Myers, Florida. And I used to say, well, I get to see my grandchildren. My children don't even post, so they got me an Aura, it's a digital picture frame. And so instead of posting on Facebook, they post on there. You know, you give them permission, not everybody can. And so all day long, constantly, those pictures are in there, and I don't need Facebook, so I'm cleaning or whatever, and I start, ooh, they won that game, you know? Yeah, because they don't post on Facebook anymore, because I used to say that, oh, I get to see my grandchildren. I see them on the Aura.
They're on IG now and TikTok.
Oh, I know.
TikTok and.
Remember, you need a mic.
I ruined Facebook. My generation ruined Facebook for me.
My student, yeah, my students used to come
Look for that other mic.
say, you have a Facebook account? Oh, people, yeah, you like that.
Now the mouse is not doing mouse things, and it's not showing.
Okay, so I think you lost the mouse.
Oh, there it goes.
So if you swing too far that way, it extends to that up.
Oh. Okay.
Let me just check something real quick. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Now I don't even go on it. It hasn't been active in.
Why is it doing that?
Instagram, TikTok, what's the other one?
Show me on two, maybe?
Yeah, I didn't get on Snapchat, so you need to.
I don't know what it's about. Now, my sister says, oh, she's good.
The way this set this up is not the way I would have done it, but I didn't have any input on it.
They're supposed to, yeah, they're supposed to be banning stuff at the state.
I heard, it was on the 19th or 29th.
Chinese babies to make found where they
Nope.
collected some information that should be collected.
But they also
That's
always
what's
come.
scary about it. They listen.
They all listen,
Oh.
yeah.
All the devices listen, yes.
It's like that,
Especially Alexa.
I was gonna say, Verizon starts talking
You can
real
say that
day
now
all
in
the
my
time.
house, we got one with every ring. But it's
One
funny
time-
that
Let's
they
try
don't
that.
listen to you, but how's it know your talk to it?
Exactly.
How's it know to listen for its name?
It's
Oh, that's the
listening.
only thing it's listening to.
Yeah.
One time they came up to me and they
Don't
said,
fly off one day. I felt
Why
like-
is it doing that?
I'm a CEO, we haven't interacted in a
Oh,
lot,
maybe.
I mean, something like psychological, I'm like,
Yeah,
this thing
I
is
bet that's it.
scary. Maybe you're guilty.
There you go.
It was
12-hour reminder, you know, and they're good for that.
And music, I use mine for music. I have one in the kitchen, one in my sewing room, like when I had a sewing room. I have a sewing room now.
I think so, yes.
I'm sorry, that's
Your
gonna
name
take
is-
that out of your
Hi, Steve, I'm Tammy Harris. How are you? What do I do? I'm retired.
Whatever you
I
like to
just-
say.
My husband works night class. He works in, Wilson.
What is the Wi-Fi
UTC.
password?
The, fire suppression for the airplanes.
You know, second finger.
He runs a 1200-degree oven.
So, the group we have here is not the same group that we had at the first, workshop. What we went over in the first workshop was, a Google business listing and creating a Facebook page. Are you guys? Okay, so what I'm trying to ask here is, would you like to go back over the first one that we did, or do you wanna skip right into the content creation and scheduling?
I have done both, so
You
I'm
have?
good, but
Okay.
depends on where everybody.
Anybody else have a preference?
No,
Okay,
no.
well,
I'll
I
go
will
with
take
Angel.
the opinion that offered, and we'll go right
Joe,
into this one.
if we discuss something that, do you want to grab the microphone back over here? Are we live still?
Yeah, we're live, yes.
Okay. So if we discuss something like you're not prepared to do because you're Google listening, we talked about Google listening being one of the most important things like that. If we just discuss something like that, then afterwards, and make Google listening up. Do you have any kind of business you're doing?
I do a little e-commerce,
Gotcha. Okay.
sell toys online,
Okay. Okay. That's pretty neat.
something to play with. My 8-year-old granddaughter suggests all of this.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, she shops with that brand all the time. Grandma, I got this for Christmas.
Sorry for our technical difficulties, you guys.
Yeah, I apologize.
2025, they're still around.
Can't live with it, can't live without it.
Exactly.
I'm just curious, the first group, they're just not interested anymore?
Well, I'm not sure why they're not here, honestly.
Well, one was putting a Christmas decoration, putting a Christmas
Yeah,
stuff
that's
up.
last week.
Leslie, and Leanne has something else going on.
Oh, that's right. Leanne had a family thing. I'm not sure where Clint is or what's her name, Catherine?
Kristen,
Kristen.
Christine, yeah. I sent those by email, because I just didn't have a chance, with my own sister being in the hospital, I didn't have a chance to make contact with them. I did see, Christine's husband working down here at the store, and, told him I was sending it.
That's,
And Clint, I could never catch over at the office.
Well, I saw Clint last week and I thought he would be here.
They were in there working, but I didn't get their name.
they moved into that house with the tall bridge.
What?
The house behind the tall bridge,
And the bridge. Oh, the iron bridge?
the iron bridge, yeah.
Mm.
I call it the tall bridge. They moved there, they redo furniture.
Yeah, she told me they were
Cool
doing
stuff.
Yeah, I could see, I peeked in there the other day.
It's
They've been working on sheetrock and there were a few pieces of furniture in there too.
All right, guys, we got it. I think we got it together now. All right, so today we are going to cover the basics of branding, content creation, and scheduling your posts on social media. Go ahead and skip that too. Wait for Ro. All right, so what we're going to cover today is what is a brand and why does it matter? We're going to cover how to create content that your audience will actually connect with. And we'll also work on saving time by batch posting, which means sitting down and scheduling things and getting it all done at one time. So you're not spending however much time every day trying to post something. Okay, so why does your brand matter? Well, first of all, people are most likely to pick a business that they recognize and they trust. Consistency. So when your brand looks the same across all platforms, so if it looks the same on Facebook, on Google, on your website, on your print marketing materials like your business cards, flyers, brochures, things like that. When it all looks the same, it makes your business feel more reliable. That goes back into trust. When they see that it all comes together, it just feels more trustworthy.
Consistency in your identity.
Right.
Real
Church
narrative.
logo, your business logo.
People like what they know.
Exactly, exactly. And your brand helps to explain what your business does and why you matter, what's unique about you. Fun fact, 82% of consumers are more likely to trust a company with consistent branding. So if all of your things look the same, 82% of people are more likely to trust you. So to create a brand, first you have to understand your target market. Who are the people that are buying from you? You've got to identify their age, interests, and the needs of your ideal customer. That is typically referred to as target demographics. And you want to know things like what is their median income? Where do they shop? What do they like to do with their spare time? And then what do they want from you? What are the problems that you can solve for them? And then once you know those things, you can tailor your brand around that. You can pick colors and language, the tone of your voice, pictures, images, all that draw in the people that you want to sell to. So once you've kind of determined your target market, you've got to ask yourself, how do you want your customers to think about you? What do you stand for? What are your mission and values? What's important to you as a business? And then how do you want to sound? Do you want to sound friendly and compassionate? Do you want to sound clever and witty? Do you want to, and all of this comes back to what kind of business you are. If you are, say, doing home health care, you don't want to do something really fun and zingy because that's not the brand, you know? And then you want to pick a simple logo, something that easily transfers across all of your platforms, and that can be identified even when it's tiny. And then colors. And colors mean something different. Red represents fun and loud, sometimes anger, depends on who you ask. Yellow is friendship. Green is typically wisdom or intelligence. Blue is calming. So you can look into that and see how it tracks for you. And if you guys want, you can take a minute real quick to write down just a couple of words that come to your head when you're talking about your brand. So, how do we stay consistent? Number one, of course, you want to use the same logo on everything. And then you want to have a color palette, probably 4 or 5 at most colors that all work together that you can kind of play around with and keep everything with symmetry. And you want to put that on your website, in your social media, on all of your print marketing materials. And the same as before, you want to write in the same tone across your emails. Posts, ads, anything that people are going to read and associate with your business. You want it to all sound the same just as much as you want it to look the same. And then you want to use images that fit your brand style and message. So just like the home health example I gave a minute ago, if you were doing home health, you would want to have really nice, respectful images of maybe someone who would be your ideal client or things that you do during the day, but not, I don't know, a random picture of a tree or whatever. That's not exactly, you know? You got anything to add, Steve? You look like you got something to say.
It's sort of
Oh, wait.
Sort of going back to the home health. I mean, you obviously don't want to put a sick person, you don't want to put like a sick person there, even though that might be the case, but there's always somebody being, it should be somebody that's aiding or assisting and smiling and that type of thing. It's kind of what you're putting out there. You're trying to put that happy tone out there, and not necessarily sometimes what it is in home health. That kind of thing would be maybe not very positive, but you know, at least it's the image. You want it to be a pleasant experience, even though it's unpleasant that you have to have home health. You know.
So while we're on the subject that Steve just mentioned, when you are working on marketing and content creation, you really want to focus on the benefits of the product or service you offer. And so for me, it's easiest for me to use myself because I know my business better than anybody else's. But I'm a massage therapist. And the benefits, so what you get after a massage is pain relief, right? But the benefits of that are the ability to keep up with your grandkids or to play golf or to do all of those things that you enjoy. And that is the focus in marketing. People know pretty much what you do. You've got to sell them on the why. And yourself, you've got to sell them on yourself. That's the number one thing in marketing, is making people trust and like you. They will buy from people they trust and like. So, why does your Facebook content matter? Well, you get noticed on Facebook. People see your stuff and they're like, didn't know that was there. It also shows off your expertise. When you offer relevant and valuable information on Facebook, you quickly become an expert in your field to the people that read your posts. And that matters. If people feel like you know what you're talking about, they are going to come see you for whatever it is that you're doing. And it also builds your relationship with those customers. Engaging with your audience helps build long-lasting relationships with your customers. Personally, on Facebook, if I post something, I can count 4 or 5 people off the top of my head that are always going to say something. They're always engaging. And that's what you're going for with this. You want to stay in the forefront of your customers' minds. And by having consistent posts that they identify with, you're always there. They're thinking about you. All right. So the fun part, the different types of content. So you can use tips and advice. So share helpful information that's relevant to your business. Like for me, as a massage therapist, I would share things on how to stretch effectively or how to, why do I always draw a blank?
How not to lift, things like that?
Yes, different things. And then you can do promotions or sales. You announce your new specials, different products you've got going, new services, things like that. You can ask questions from your audience. That can really be helpful when you're struggling to come up with content. And then behind the scenes, that always gets the most traction for me. Just a random selfie at work is going to get way more engagement than anything else I post. People like to see what's going on behind, you know, the front-facing whatever. They want to know what goes into all the things that you're doing and the work that you're putting in and all of that. They care. And you can use a mix of these different types to keep everybody engaged. Hold on real quick, guys. I gotta run my water. I've also been sick. It's going around. Not recently. Don't worry. I'm not contagious. All right. Okay, so how do you craft posts that people will engage with? Well, first of all, you want to use good photos and videos. Use clear, bright images with natural light and minimal clutter. We know what natural light does for all of us. It's very helpful. And that it does the same thing for your pictures. And then minimal clutter. If you take a picture and you've got a ton of different things going on, people don't know where to focus, and they just scroll past it. So keep things simple, keep it light and bright, and make sure it's not blurry, you know, things like that. And then you want to use short and simple captions. Simple captions, short and to the point, language that's easy to understand. A lot of us have a hard time with the curse of knowledge. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but we forget that people that are not in our industry don't know our jargon. They don't know what we're talking about. You've got to dumb it down for people, and I mean that in the very nicest way. But that really matters. If they come across stuff and they just don't understand what you're trying to say, it's not going to do any good. And then the number one thing is a call to action. You've got to tell people what you want from them. Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to book online? Do you want them to follow you on Facebook? Whatever the action you want, you've got to tell them. So go ahead.
Can you go back to that last
Yeah.
slide for me? I got a question. I hope it's not stupid, but.
Not here.
Oh, yeah, you too. Captions. Explain exactly what the caption is. And I'm asking because there's text that you put as part of your post, and then there's the text you put like over your photos. You know how sometimes, that's probably more IG, Instagram, when they have that text over their photos.
Yeah.
And then there's text that's telling you what it's saying when it's on mute. What's the difference between those?
The text that's showing when it's on mute is closed captioning, and that is good for people with disabilities, people who can't hear, or if people just have to keep things muted while they're working or whatever. And it's good to keep it on, but it's not something that's really going to affect the overall post. As far as words over top of the image, I would stay away from that. You want to put your copy in the written part of the post. When you
I'm seeing that more, and aesthetically, I don't like it, but I've seen it more and more.
and
Is that a trend?
it's Instagram, always a trend. Excuse me. But the writing over top of your photos tends to make it look a little more cluttered. And that's not usually what you're going for, but you can always test it and see if it gets traction. It all comes down to your audience, and your audience is different than everybody else's in the room, you know. That's another thing with all of this stuff, you guys. Test and change. Give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, do something different. That's how business is.
Also run two
Yeah, you can do an A/B test, which means you can run two pretty much of the same post at one time and change little things and see what works better. We can talk about that some more at the end.
do A/B testing
I should probably be doing that.
You could point out, so A/B testing could, you're like ingredients. A/B testing for different products may be different. Maybe even just a change of color could elevate.
That's true.
Choice, but
I mean, that's a very good point. You see how this slide in particular has the light green background with the dark green little thing. You could flip-flop that and test both and see what does better. All right, so what are the benefits of scheduling your posts in advance? Well, first of all, you're going to save time. If you can sit down for an hour or two and schedule out all your posts for the next 2 weeks, then you don't have to think about it again until you got to sit down and do it again.
I found that is a God-given for me.
It is a necessity. If I don't do it, posts aren't happening. It's just not going to happen. And it also helps you stay active. If you've got these posts scheduled, when you get comments and messages, all you have to do is go in and respond to those. It doesn't take near the brain power to respond to someone as it does to actually sit down and create the content. Whew, Lord help me. Yes, it very much so can be. And then by scheduling things in advance, you can plan around events, you can holidays, sales, promotions, all of these things. You can let your customers know about it in advance.
It helps with consistency.
Well, when you plan in advance, I mean, like, I'm sitting here writing notes based, I know your business, and at least your business, in the church and all. And when you plan in advance, you can also sort of tease. Hey, look, we plan to do this on Sunday. Join us live right here on Facebook. Or, we've got this new artist or this new exhibit coming in. It'll be here for 3 weeks. I don't know how you do it over there, but that type of thing. So you're sort of teasing a customer. When you plan in advance, you get people checking back at your page. Or they'll, if it's something they're really interested in, maybe they know the artist or maybe they know the minister that's coming to speak, a guest speaker, something like that, then, they'll tune in. I got more to share with both of you, but we'll let Brandi finish.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. We'll have some more informal discussion about all of this once we get through the slides. So if you've got questions, write them down, keep them at the forefront. So consistent posting leads to 30% increase in engagement versus random whenever you have time posts. It matters. Pam. Thank you, ma'am. All right, so there are a ton of different tools that you can use to create content and schedule your posts. The two that I personally use are Canva, which is how I created this slideshow, actually. I use it for creating everything.
Anybody here use it?
I see them nodding. They're both using Canva. It's very user friendly, and once we're done, I'll pull it up and show you a little bit of how it works. From what I hear, there are several different content creation type sites, and this has been the easiest to use. And then for scheduling, I use the Meta Business Suite. It lets you post to Instagram and Facebook, which doesn't do a lot if you have like LinkedIn or Twitter, X, or any of the other socials that you want to post to, which is where some of these other platforms come in.
So Canva doesn't connect to it?
Actually, Canva does. I forgot. Canva will connect to all of those things. You can do it. And the back end of my website, actually, I can connect it and schedule it out. But for me, it's easiest to just use the business suite because I'm only using Facebook and Instagram. But it depends on your target market and where your customers hang out. If you were a B2B business, like you're a business selling to other businesses, you would want to be on LinkedIn. I don't think that really applies to any of us here. So I wouldn't even worry about it. Just toss that one out. The biggest thing,
Most likely not be on Instagram business photos.
right,
Facebook, you kind of middle of the road.
right. Oh, I lost my train. No. This is standard for me. Okay, if it's important, it'll come back. So Buffer and Hootsuite are two sites that will let you play around with it. And actually, I think Steve has more insight than I do on these.
I didn't know Hootsuite was still around.
It is, in its early days, I used it, but I've got a social media person, so she does everything individual now, so.
And I think I played around on it a little bit, but it wasn't, for me, just posting to Facebook and Instagram, it was just unnecessary.
Canva's the better.
How are they price-wise? There was another one, I can't think of the name of it right now. It's everywhere, but it was extremely expensive. And then I found one called Hero Post that was really cool. You can post to any LinkedIn, they had, you can schedule LinkedIn, X, TikTok, everything.
Right.
They're slightly pricey, but I haven't moved to them yet because with Meta, if you have an account, you can just use it.
Right.
But there's some work I do where I do LinkedIn, and it's not helpful there. But do you know off the top of your head? We could look myself, but price-wise, Buffer and Hootsuite and
So,
I wish I could think of the name of the other one.
The Sprout.
It's not Sprout, but I did hear about Sprout too. It sounds like Hootsuite, but it's not.
It's the Buffer, Hootsuite, Sprout, Sendable, Social Pilot, Bloomlink, Meet Edgar does it. You're better off at the top of those than the one she's using. Buffer, Hootsuite, Sprout, maybe Sendable, I would say they're all about.
I think unless you have a specific need for one of these other ones, then I would just go with the cheaper option. But if you do have a specific need for something that the other ones don't offer, then absolutely.
Regardless which one you use, the content's what's gonna matter.
Exactly. Yeah, when I first started doing this, I had it in my head that if I picked the right one, then miraculously my content would it didn't work that way.
I feel like that's where I'm at right now.
I understand.
It's gotta be the right quality and the right quantity. If you could take the two Q's out of that, then it'd be easy. So you gotta find the happy medium for you and your sort of customer base or your audience.
Not only that, but you've got to find what's realistic for you. That's, I knew it. At the same time, though, HubSpot offers a lot of other things, like the emails and the landing pages and all of that.
That's way off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any more questions about the different sites for now? Okay. When we're done, we'll come back and I'll show you some more about Canva. Yeah. All right. Did we miss one?
I don't know what I did.
Okay, yeah. One more. The other, back to the back.
One more?
No, the other way, sorry.
Okay.
I did say back, but.
Okay.
All right, so the photo on the screen right there is just when you log into the business suite, that's what it looks like. It's your cover photo with your logo, and then it gives you the option to create a post, reel, story, all the things. And this little slide right here kind of walks you through the steps, but we don't need to cover all that right now because we're not. But I'm going to share this slide or the whole presentation with you guys when we're done, so you have it.
Yeah, perfect.
And Pam, if you want to sit down, you can use the mouse and click.
Okay.
It'll do the same thing.
Okay.
All right, so some best practices for scheduling your posts. You want to schedule when your people are online. If most of your target market works 8 to 5, it's probably not gonna work to post at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. because they're working, they're not online. I mean, unless they're not working, you know. But you wanna schedule, like evenings, weekends, nights, or I said both, lunch, that's the other one I was trying to say. But it all depends on your audience in particular. And actually, the MetaSuite will help you kind of determine when your followers are online and what content is getting the best traction and when. And then you want to rotate between your different types of content and then post formats. So we already covered the different types of content, advice, promotions, behind the scenes, all of that. But the different formats are, you have just a nice image. You could do a video. You can, this isn't an option on Instagram, but on Facebook, you can just put words to ask a question or do a poll. That sometimes gets a lot of traction depending on the question I ask. And then graphics that you can create on Canva. Those are really good for the tips and advice one. But you want to really rotate it out as best you can. You don't really want to post the same thing over and over again because your followers are going to be like, yeah. And then you can use your analytics in the back end of the MetaSuite, which I'll show you, to see what's getting the most likes and the most engagement, who's sharing what, all that stuff. And that'll help you kind of tailor your future content. Lost my thought again.
Can I add to that?
You absolutely can.
I did want to jump in here because I know that I've run into people before that have businesses that try, you know how you set your individual Facebook page up? Just want to make sure everybody has a business page, correct? Like for, say, for your church.
Yeah, exactly.
So you access it through your Facebook account, right?
I switch.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
most people don't understand how that is.
well, that's kind of the point, because you don't get analytics if it's not a business page. You don't see those analytics, and you don't know when you.
That might be a problem for yours because yours is set up for
Mhm.
church, right?
In the church, but I do see.
But do you have
people in an increase.
Okay, so it's set up that
something
way.
set up for the museum?
And I don't
That
know.
is a business.
Well, hers,
Yeah,
I thought we were
and
talking
it's
about-
membership, it's by membership only. You have to
Okay.
answer some questions.
So it is set up
So
right.
it's not a
Just
public
making sure
Facebook
you're-
page?
Okay.
That's a
The-
great.
the-
You have to be admitted and you have to answer certain questions.
Got
That's
it.
the way that it was set up.
That's what I want to make sure, because if it wasn't like that, then you'll not know when your audience is active. You won't see any of the analytics when they're online, how long they spend. You won't see those things if it's not set up correctly.
We do see that too.
Yeah,
In the
so-
same page, just
So then
like
you're
the
set
other
up correctly.
And the church too, yeah, I see all that.
Good.
On that dashboard, whatever they call it.
Bingo. That's what we wanted to hear. I just wanted to make sure, because I've had people do that and say, I don't see all that. Well, I know why.
Yeah, I see all that. Yeah, the personal page.
Right. All right, guys. So the key takeaways from these slides are to A, make sure everything looks the same everywhere. And then you want to create posts that connect with your audience, and then plan ahead to stay consistent. Those, if you don't take away anything else from today, those are the three main takeaways. And does anybody have questions?
I don't know where to start. It's almost like, it's not a question about what we covered today, because this was great. It's almost like a continuation idea.
Absolutely, that's on the next slide.
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, before we move on, the links that I've got here on this slide, one is inside of Canva, and it will explain to you how all the things work and how to do different stuff on Canva. And then the second one is basically the same thing for the business suite. It's a FAQ page and different like lessons that you can watch and figure out how to use it. I included those because
If you share PDFs of this presentation and the links on our YouTube page.
Absolutely. Okay. Oh, you can skip this. We're gonna work on it. Yep. There we go. Next topic. What would you guys like to work on next?
Me, constructive criticism. I would be honest. I don't wanna have to give you my whole life story, but I'm doing some new things with social media for the art center
Mm-hmm.
that I have my parents run. But to pay my bills, I'm also working with some other people.
Right.
Including myself. I do like admin work virtually, so I'm trying to sell myself without selling myself online. And then, cause I don't like being in front of the camera, but I'm also working with 2 other companies doing their social media, so I'm learning all this too. Like the difference between reels and stories and how to run an analytics report and what works and what doesn't. So, I guess what I'm, in my head, I'd love a group of people to sit down and say, April, no, stop doing that. That's done, it doesn't work.
So-
Try this.
Actually, earlier today, I was thinking about that. Um,
A real true workshop.
yeah, where we could sit down and create some posts and figure some stuff out, almost like a networking group.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you think that we could somehow
Yeah.
involve
On different levels.
Nash Community College or maybe use a lab at Spalding or something to make it a little bit more interactive where people could, where you could bring up, we have a couple, say a few people like wanted to bring up their stuff and then you can kind of all sit down together with your own pages going through it. Would something like that work?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And honestly, we don't even have to go that far. As long as everybody's got a laptop that they bring with them, we could do it at my office and hook right into the Wi-Fi.
yeah, I just don't know if you got enough throughput.
I should. I've got Spectrum Business, and they really push it. So. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about the same thing earlier. And honestly, even just for accountability, it would be nice to be able to sit down with somebody and create stuff. I'm about it.
And, you know, it doesn't have to be often, because we're all busy, you know, sometimes. Go ahead, get up, go. But I just, like you said, that accountability, that network, different people in different levels give you ideas and kind of help you grow with it.
Absolutely.
It's about adding to your reach, therefore adding to your income, or in your case, add more buildings in heaven, right?
No, add more people to join us.
Right.
Like, it's a museum, you know, we wanna attract people so they can see.
You got the museum and the church.
Yes,
Yes.
but I do the church because we just recently started that. I do the church more.
I have some things that I have to tell you about. When we start the informal, I got to tell her some stuff.
Help First Baptist, because we're in the same boat.
Okay, so you
About
know
the
for
church?
Yeah, yeah. I had a preacher's kid all my life. I got some stuff.
Yeah, it was very hard to get him to commit to this. It was very, very hard. I mean, I had to like, not me, it was somebody else that wanted it.
There's a
And
lot
they
of
said, well, who's gonna
hesitation.
do it? And he's like, Ro.
Voluntold.
Well, and he needed to do that, and I said, okay, I'll try, in order to get, you know, the consensus to allow us to have a Facebook. And I think they're enjoying it, and they're, you know, because they're using it for information. I post the sermons for the pastor, and, you know, they can watch them there if they've missed church, and so it is good reminding them fellowship dinner or something. But, don't get that many people, like maybe 6.
You find that where certain things like that, you only get so much.
Say you walk through fire, then it's fair to walk.
So
But it's
one
like the
thing,
same people.
one thing that you guys need to know.
Established congregations, not new people, right? That's what really.
Yeah, as mostly.
That's what you gotta dig for, yeah.
So something that you should know is that the algorithm for the social media stuff, when you have a business page, they don't push your posts like they do for personal posts. You are going to have to pull teeth to get traction with your posts. So just keep at it, guys. I know it seems daunting and like you're not making any progress, but I promise you are. Even if it seems like the likes and shares and comments are low, people still are seeing it.
And it has to be consistent, because it can take months. Like, the first year when we did the art centers, wasn't as consistent. It was like you said, pulling teeth because of the business page. But the more I was consistent with posting, certain days, certain things,
Yep.
certain types, and changing, I got more engagement.
Yes, it's just like with Google, when all of your information is correct, Google trusts you more. Social media is the same way. If you post consistently, and I'm not even talking about every day. I post 3 times a week, and then on Sundays I post my openings, but no more than 3 times a week. But doing it every week matters. Facebook will push you more if you stay consistent. But it takes some time.
That also depends on what kind of business you're in. We post 3 times a day. I got almost 500,000 followers.
So while that's true, Steve is not, he's not marketing locally. He's marketing,
Worldwide.
and it's very different.
And that's what I was gonna ask you, at
Completely
church,
different businesses.
at church is even harder. You know what I mean, the artist center, you always have things going on over there, you know, interesting thing in the church. Oh, we got a service
Well,
on Sunday.
and with the art, you should have a lot of good stuff to be able to create content with. And honestly, it sounds like you're doing a great job of finding content to post for the church. The biggest thing is just doing it consistently and at the right times.
Yeah.
If you post,
The right time.
if you post when people are active, then more people see it. So for the church pages, I would probably post like Sunday afternoon after everybody's had lunch, stuff like that. And it really just depends, but
Yeah. We just have to try it and see what gets the most, research it.
yep.
But, yeah.
If you have a lot of retired people, then, we're up all the time. Mornings,
I was about to say,
But then if you have the people that are working 8 to 5, then there's definitely
We have mostly
Well,
grandparents, right?
So I have a lot of my clients, my retired clients, talk about not being able to sleep anymore. So they're up much earlier in the morning than the rest of us, and they don't have anything else to do except for scroll on
That
Facebook.
massage will help you get a good night's sleep, right?
Yes, it will.
Right, shameless plug.
I'm here for it.
No, not shameless, it's okay.
But so if you have a lot of followers that are insomniacs, it might be good to schedule some posts at 5 a.m. or whatever. You've got to know your audience. That's key.
See, that's a big eye opener for me, because I just thought, as long as I post 3 times a
And-
week, no matter what time, everybody's gonna see it, but now I know strategically. I have to
Right.
go
The
to
algorithm.
strategic.
And the fact that you're staying consistent with it is way ahead of the curve, bro. You're doing amazing. But these little tweaks can help.
I have help now, no, I have help now, I have another person that has agreed, and she's gonna do 1 week, I gotta do another week, and I'm gonna give her all this information. And then the pastor is also, because we had a new pastor transitioning, then she had to move out of her parsonage, not to tell my whole church life history, and so she really wasn't ready, but now she is, and she's posting devotions, and she's posting things, so we got 3 people now.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good.
You won't believe what I have written down, but I will get to that in a minute.
Okay.
The last slide is just the survey. This is just a survey for the Downtown Development Board. It asks questions mostly to see how we can help the local businesses in whatever way. So if you guys have some time, we'd appreciate it if you'd fill that out, but you don't have to do it right this minute because it'll probably take a few minutes. Do we have any questions before we start playing on the Canva? No? active businesses are past this. They already know these things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I don't see a lot of things on, was it downtown businesses? I don't see a lot of things on
Well-
Facebook.
You also have to understand, like, some of the businesses, and we talked about this yesterday on your emails, some of the businesses and some of the people who own businesses in a lot of places, not just here, just like the church, they're hesitant. Oh, look, yeah, we're posting, we're on Facebook, we're good.
No, we know that we're not. That's what we, they
Well,
are trying to.
Just because you're on Facebook, and just because you're on social media, doesn't mean anything if you're not doing it right.
Yeah, and I will say this, as a person who researches businesses and persons often online, sometimes all people have, whether it's the business or the entity, the organization, is a Facebook page. They don't have a website.
That's it.
But they haven't updated it since 2020 or 2018, and it's like, well, that's pointless. Why even bother?
Right.
Well,
Yeah, so if I come across a page that hasn't posted anything in God knows how long, I'm assuming that they are no longer in business.
then that business that you just referred to that hadn't posted anything since 2020 says, well, why am I gonna post? It's doing nothing for me.
Because they need to come to this class.
I promise you.
They don't even know that they need to
Your
know,
car-
but they think when it does.
Your car's not gonna get you to the grocery store if you don't put gas in it.
Analytics stuck with this stuff I didn't know before I came here tonight.
And it's not rocket science, it's
No,
just,
no,
it's just a matter of knowing better. Like, if you don't post in 5 years, no, it's not working for you.
Of course, no one's gonna be here.
Right, and guys, I am not a marketing expert by any means. This is all just stuff that I've come to know from trial and error.
Well, you're not indoctrinating us like teachers do nowadays.
But you built
Well, I
the
think
business
you
from
did a very
scratch, so
good
you're doing pretty good.
I appreciate
Yes,
that.
I enjoyed
That's
it.
good.
I'm looking forward to the next.
Maybe you didn't hear me, but I think this is a very good presentation.
Very good.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm
So
looking
your
forward
next
to
one, you
the
can say
next.
you are an expert.
Hey,
I wouldn't have known.
look, you're doing marketing seminar, so you're an expert at this point.
Exactly.
It counts.
Call you an SME, subject matter expert.
Um,
There you go.
Well, y'all are welcome to stay as long as you want. I'm going to shut stuff down for the public, and you guys can do your thing. I will lock up, and then whenever you leave, just turn the lights on, and I'll leave that with Pam, because I have my son here, so.
We won't be too long.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's a public space. Just be safe. Of course, we have the PD next door in case you need them.
I got you.
Do you want to check the chat real quick before you go and see
I
if
have been
anybody was
monitoring
watching?
it. I didn't see anything.
We wanna choose a book in February, so we haven't chosen one, so we wanna get
I already
everybody
told
together.
you, Mom, one that I want to read. I
She's-
love that author.
Okay, she told me she was supposed to tell me what
You
book
know,
it was.
because I dropped by, the Christmas and Spring,
I
you
saw
were
you
there, you
there,
guys were
yeah.
slaying on down there, they were
It was
having
nice.
fun, and it
That
was
was
hot.
awesome. Yeah.
But I do want, I need a book club.
Hey, April, mention the storytelling that's coming up in this month.
Yes.
The 25th, it's on a Saturday.
Yep. Storytelling, open mic event, Saturday, 25th, 3 p.m. Come out.
Say it one more time, I'm sorry.
Storytelling, open mic event. It's like an open mic. Come, you can see poetry, inspiration. We've got 3 featured artists that'll be there. It's at 3 p.m. on Saturday. We don't keep you long and we give you snacks. So.
Okay.
3 p.m.
Now, you do have to buy tickets to this.
Tickets are $15 and they're online.